besties, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth. If this is your first time here, you're welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here. And please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the post notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you'll be notified. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking you guys through the process of making this beautiful gown. The cutting tutorial is already up on the channel. If you have not seen that, I'll drop the link in the description box below. So if you're interested in how I made this, please keep watching and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. So let's get right into it. So these are the materials you'll be needing to make this dress. First, I have this chantili lace fabric here. I have about 1 yard. I have a plain fabric about 2.5 yards here. I actually use crepe for mine. You can use crepe or you can use cotton fabric. You also need to make cover buttons. If you do not have a machine to make that, you can make it in the market when you get your fabric. Okay, so I have about 8 of it here, but I ended up using just 6 of them. And lastly, you will need a zipper, of course, and a matching thread. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut out my pattern on my fabric. For the front body, I actually cut 2 pieces on fold. Okay, one will be the main fabric and the other will be the lining. And I added stitching allowance around the cup area, the curve, and also at the upper part I added 1/2 inch of stitching allowance. Now for the cup part, I cut 2 pieces for the main fabric and also 2 pieces for the chantili lace fabric, and I added 1/2 inch all around it for stitching allowance. For the back pattern, I cut out 2 pieces exactly what I have on the pattern on my fabric without adding allowance because the stitching allowance is already included on the pattern. So also I cut out facing to turn the neckline. This will not be having lining, so I'm using a facing to turn the neckline. And for the yoke, I cut out 2 pieces for the plain fabric and also 2 pieces for the lace fabric, giving stitching allowance of 1/2 inch to the parts going towards the center. Okay, so these are all the pieces you are going to be working with to make this beautiful dress. So now I'm going to start working on the cup and the yoke first. What I'll do now is place the actual fabric and lace of the yoke right side facing each other. The actual fabric is serving as the lining here. So what I'm going to do now is to place them together and take it to my sewing machine to stitch by 1/2 inch on the side going towards the center. So after stitching it down, this is what I have. This is what it looks like. So what I'm just going to do now is to trim off the excess allowances just so I have a flat piece to work with. I'm going to trim that seam allowance off now, and then I'm going to turn it over and give it a good press. And once I'm done doing that, I'm going to bring in the cup and notch the center part, the part of the cup that is going towards the center front. So I'm going to make a notch on the actual fabric and also on the lace fabric. And then the next thing I'll do is to place my yoke on the part going towards the side. Then I'm going to place my lace fabric on it like so, and then I'm going to stitch the upper part by 1/2 inch, just the upper part for now. Please note that you are placing these 2 pieces right side facing each other. So guys, this is what we have after stitching the cup and the yoke together. What I'm going to do now is to trim off the excess allowance just like I did on the yoke. I'm going to be trimming off the excess allowance, and then I'm going to open it up and give it a really good press. So now I'll set this aside and work on the body. So for the front body, I'm going to be placing the 2 pieces right side facing each other like this, and I'm going to pin the center and the sides together like so, and then I will stitch the sides by 1/4 inch and I will stitch the center by 1/2 inch. So go ahead and do exactly what you see me doing in this video. Now for the back piece, I'll also place my facing right side facing each other like so, and then I'm going to sew by 1/2 inch around the neckline. I'll go to my sewing machine now and do that, then come back and show us what it looks like. So guys, this is what we have after stitching together. This is what the back looks like, and here is what the front body looks like. So what I will do now is to set this aside, and then I'll continue to work on the cup. So now I'm going to be sewing by 1/2 inch or the upper part, like you see me demonstrating. So this is me trying to create a channel for the rope to pass through on the upper part. Then I'm going to repeat the same thing to the other cup as well. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to cut 2 long strips of fabric with about 16 inches long and 2 inches wide. So I'm going to fold it in half like so, and then I'll stitch all the way to the end. So this is what it looks like after stitching, and then I went ahead to turn it to the right side. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to come to the center part of my cup, and I'm just going to be going in by 1/2 inch on the channel we created earlier. So the 1/2 inch is the stitching allowance that we're going to use to join the cup to the main body, and then from that 1/2 inch I'm going to be making a little hole enough for the rope to pass through. Then I'm going to insert my rope through that opening, and I will secure with a stitch so it does not come off. I'll also repeat the same thing to the other cup. So now the next thing I will do is to sew the cup to the body of the front piece. I'm going to align the side and center of the cup with the body. Then I'll pin them together like so and start sewing. When I'm about to get to the center, I will use the excess fabric left to form 2 to 3 pleats and continue sewing to the other end. I'll also repeat the same thing to the other cup as well. So guys, this is what we have after stitching. As you can see, the front part of our dress is ready, as well as the back part. So what I will do now is stitch the front and the back together at the shoulder by 1/2 inch. So what I will do is to take one of the pieces, and then I'm going to use that piece to turn the other pieces together like so. Then I'll sew on it by 1/2 inch. So this will ensure that that area is neatly done. So after doing that, I'm going to be sewing the size by the stitching allowance I gave while I was cutting. So guys, our dress is coming out nice and clean, as we can see, and we're almost done with the making of this beautiful dress. So guys, the next thing I will do is to cut out a long piece of fabric for my gathers, and to do that I'm going to be taking the measurements I have around that lower part like so, and whatever I have I'm going to be multiplying that by 3. You can do by 2. I think the least you can do is 2. Depends on how full you want your gathers to be. But for me, I'm just going to be using the old fabric that I have left. So I will go ahead now and take the measurements I have around there. So after taking the measurements, I have about 36 inches. So I'm just going to cut a long strip of fabric that is long enough to give me the result that I want. And for how long the fabric should be, what I will simply do is go over to my dress and take the measurements that I have on the dress, the length from my shoulder point. I'm going to place my tape right there, and then I'm going to measure down to the side, and whatever I have, I'm going to be subtracting that from my actual gown length. So I actually made a mistake. That's not where to measure up to. You are going to take your tape and measure from the shoulder tip to your waist, actually, if you do not want this gown to be extremely short. So you measure from the shoulder tip to your waist, and for my waist it was 16 inches. So my actual gown length is about 36 thereabout. So I'm going to be removing that 16 inches from the 36. Then I will be left with 20 inches, and to that 20 inches I'm going to be adding 1 inch for folding allowance at the lower part and 1/2 inch for joining the gathers to the main body. I hope you get that. So I've gone ahead to cut the long fabric I'm going to be using for gathers, and what I'm just going to do, or what you will do, is run a loose stitch on the upper part of the fabric. After you must have torn the hem of your fabric with 1 inch, you fold with 1/2 inch and further folding with another 1/2 inch. Then on the part that you're going to join to the body of the dress, you're going to run a loose stitch. You can run 2 or 1 loose stitch, like a gather stitch from your machine, on it like so, and then you are going to drag it to form that gathers. So after pulling it to form the gathers, this is what you should have. So you can go ahead and measure this to be sure it's the same as the length that you have on the lower part of your dress. So I've also gone ahead to hem the lower part, and what I'll do now is stitch this around my basque waistline, making sure to arrange the gathers so that it comes out even and nice. And after stitching it together, I will also attach my zipper and then come back and show us what it looks like. After stitching that, guys, this is what we have. The dress is looking so pretty already. So now I've also gone ahead to fix my sleeves. I have a tutorial on how to cut a basic sleeve. I'm going to link that down in the description box below. And then I've also gone ahead to fix my button. I just randomly use my eye to just measure it, like I basically eyeball and then fix the button on the front like so. So thank you so much for staying tuned till the very end of this tutorial. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you'll be recreating this style also. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow soulmates, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you have any tutorial requests, you can also send it to me on my Instagram at zabi_logs. See you in my next video.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across